Welcome to the OFX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton. Along with me is the belated birthday Bethany McChesney. And sorry, we never said it last time, right? I don't know. We didn't get through. Or
That's
had it officially been your birthday last time?
yes, because my
Yes.
birthday was Monday, so because we didn't record on the Monday.
Yes, but you're not quite a master's yet.
Not quite a master's, no.
Yeah, I think CrossFit might be 35. I don't know what master. So 40, I
Well,
think.
on the track, I'm a master's.
Yeah, was it 35?
35. Yeah.
Just about there. Just about 40. Look at that though. Awesome.
Oh no. Mhm.
We get like a ton of crap. What do you want to start with? You go first.
Well, well, maybe let's start with AlUla results.
All right. AlUla results. So the results that we have so far, the podium results. All right. So for the men, we have John Albin in first. Kind of predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least, you wouldn't be crazy if you picked John Albin in first.
Yeah. Most
Right.
people put him one or two.
Yeah. Ryan Atkins in second. Same thing. Fairly predictable. And Mark Battress in third. Again, not big surprises. I thought that was,
Yeah.
for the women, Alyssa Petrova in first. Bit of a surprise if you ask me.
hmm Maybe. Maybe
Maybe.
not for
I mean,
maybe not.
she's great,
Yeah.
but I don't think she was first on a lot of ballots there.
No, but I had her third.
Third, that's pretty, yeah, well, let's
hmm
toot your own horn there. Nicole Miracle in second. I had Nicole, I think third or fourth or something like that. I had
Yeah.
the top five. And Yanka Popova in third,
hmm
which that is probably the thing that Matt B. Davis got most right about the weekend is that he's the most fun name to say.
Well, she was one of the only names that he knew that were not American, so
Yeah, we'll talk about that bit a little bit later.
so are
Um,
we?
team team race, we had the French team taking first place. Um, Masula Alula Hula Syndicate taking second place. I have no idea who's on that team, but that's a great name.
Mhm.
And Egypt Star Alpine Blitz taking third place. And again, I don't know who was on that team. This is the problem, is information is very difficult to get, which it really shouldn't be. That was for the two-person team. For the four-person team, we had European Elite, then Ajman, and then the A team in third. The A team, we know that was VJ's team as well as Leon was on that team, but he had to step aside. Thomas
Mhm.
Von Tonder stepped in, and also that was Manuel Defoe
Mhm.
and Nikolai Dam. So those like the only team that we. So that's the results that we actually have. We haven't seen the rest. Why do we not have the rest of the results?
Well, because there is no official results yet. So
They haven't
they
finished?
well, they finished, but there was timing chip errors. When the power went out, apparently there was a storm that came in, and so there's some mistakes with the timing, and they didn't have official results for people outside of the top three. So apparently by Wednesday, we will have official results. So it's 3 to 10, and then the age group winners that they still have to sort out. So,
I could see the age group winners being difficult. That
mhm.
that could be tough. But as far as to the top 10 overall, stand at the finish line and count.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and
we
I
should be
mean,
able to get a bit of a
I
concept
think
from.
so. According to people I've talked to, they know they're not official yet because they have to go back and check some things and but they just haven't put out the top 10 yet.
That whole storm thing like caused great chaos. I understand that.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of people pissed off. A
About
lot of,
the timing situation?
oh, I'm sure about the timing situation, but we didn't really know as much about that. But about obviously about the coverage. So many people over here that were like going to get up at 11:45 p.m. and watch, and then yeah, got what we got, which I don't I've been on the side of it where I know how hard it can be. It can be very difficult. That said, do I think that the planning of this was done as well as it could have been? Probably not.
No,
No.
no. No, and there were many there were many aspects to it too that were very frustrating. If the getting video was difficult, if it, there was just one man trying to do it all and just set up a camera, then the frustrating thing to me also was that um, except for you just really never knew what was going on in the race,
No.
except the occasional pop-up of the order. But yeah, no clue what was going on.
No, and I mean, if things did get all screwed up, which they did, right? I'm sure they, from my understanding, they were planning to have cameras other places and signals gone and whatever, all that stuff. But was the plan for them to have Matt do the entire 9 hours on his own and just talk? Because if that wasn't the plan, where were the other people who were supposed to commentate and do other stuff? And like a
Yeah.
lot of people are hanging Matt out to dry, and I get that. I get that, and I'm not saying
Mhm.
he's not without fault because I think he made a lot of mistakes. But
Yeah.
I think there were others that made a lot of mistakes too, and I'm like,
Well, yeah, but like we saw, I don't even know what the obstacles looked like.
no, no, and that's like I said, that could have been done. Someone could have ran
Yeah.
out there with a cell phone and
The other frustrating thing to me is with such a field that we had put together, and it really frustrates me when you can't get to learn the people's names. And and this is one of my frustrations too with Matt, like, hey you, and oh you got this guy, and like you had 9 hours at minimum to get to know these athletes' names. And I mean, it's important, and people, their families are at home watching, like
Mhm.
learn their names. So that's also, I find it very disrespectful to not show a little bit more care and effort into just getting to know who the athletes are.
Yeah, yeah, there was a lot gone wrong, a lot gone wrong, and
Mhm.
I'm interested to see what
The fallout.
fallout and the comment and the reasoning and really some more backstories to exactly what went wrong. I mean, we saw
Yeah.
what went wrong on our end, but as to what
Yeah.
went from their end, right? It'll be interesting.
Yeah, and I mean that's the part that we don't know.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that I know that was the ball was dropped on.
Hmm.
That's where I will speak to my frustrations. But yes, it could
Yeah,
have been.
yeah. And I mean, my frustration that I can say just from as a viewer, just from watching is tell me what's going on.
Hmm.
Like just
Hmm.
tell me basic things that like what when the race is starting and
Yeah.
you
Or
know,
even I like how far was the gap between John and Ryan? Like little updates throughout, like we had no idea.
yeah, yeah.
Or how far ahead was Nicole? Because that was obviously a closer race than we knew. And
Mhm.
what were her chances of winning at going into the last lap? Like she got passed in the last lap. Like,
Yeah, it could have been a very exciting race too.
and I mean, Matt didn't even know her name, so it's some girl, and like that's frustrating too. Like, okay, well, who?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it was what it was. At the very best, let's call it a huge missed opportunity.
yeah, it
You
was a
know,
huge missed
a
opportunity. And again,
huge missed opportunity.
we love this sport and we want it to grow, and that was everyone was so excited to see that race played out, and we didn't have what could have been a really cool viewing experience. So, and we're like there's so many like hardcore fans too. Like if it was on during the day and not through the night, I probably would have watched the whole damn thing.
I got up in the morning and I put it on to start my workout, right?
Hmm.
'Cause I had plans for the day and stuff, so I put it on to start my workout, and I was like, dang.
Yeah. Hmm.
And it was late, so I'm like, okay, I can fast forward because there's always a half hour of pre stuff and everything or whatever. I could fast forward
Hmm.
through all that, and I'm like, uh, trying to get tell her where
Yeah.
it started, but missed opportunity. What I thought that one of the things I was impressed with Nicole. She's like
Yeah.
just to come back and be at that form and to run with the top. Um,
Yeah.
big surprises for me. Lindsay and Christopher Glasgow.
Hmm.
I mean, what were they with thinking they
Fifth,
were
sixth,
fifth,
maybe?
fifth through seventh, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And just for anybody else, you'd say, wow, great performance. But for them, it's like, wow, what happened? And
Hmm.
again, something that would be nice to know. The only thing I can guess is that just the course was so fast, and the obstacles not of a highly challenging nature
Yeah.
that hampered them as opposed to someone like Nicole Miracle, who is just sheer run speed and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And Esther too, like Esther not up there as well, I would have expected. But
Hmm.
that was a surprise. And then I guess maybe because the course was so fast and like that, I immediately was kind of thinking, oh my God, my underestimation of Anthony Kunkel is going to be terrible here because I thought as soon as I heard all hard packed and then I saw that list of the obstacles, I'm like, oh no, like
Hmm.
that's too easy. But I guess it didn't work out for him either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you look at the speed that John Albin was running, he hit 100K in 8 hours. His pace with obstacles was a 4:45 km for 8 hours straight. That's completely remarkable. So that's moving. And the women hit 80K.
Yeah, and I mean, hats off to Atkins, whose running gets underestimated,
Hmm.
and he ran with those guys, right? Running with Bat because Batras's running is spot on, and we know that. And
Yeah.
Atkins running with Batras and Elman, I mean, that's impressive
Hmm.
because he didn't get the chance to make it up on the obstacles this time. Not
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would have been failing anything.
No, no. Yeah, and that was the first time Nicole ever had run that far too, so very impressive for her.
When I was thinking about it too, like Nicole back in the sand after it was the sand that killed her knee.
Oh,
I mean, because right, that was when she came off at the
yeah,
Hildervat, when she came off the obstacle. That's what I can't remember the exact injury, but blew out her knee and
yeah,
kept her really out for a year and a half to 2 years, and then to go and run an entire thing in the sand.
yeah. And I didn't think about that. Yeah, I
No,
wonder if she had some PTSD to work through.
yeah, well, she did. She figured it out. But
Yeah.
I did get a message from Ariel beforehand saying, "Don't underestimate Nicole. She is super fit right now."
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
She
so
proved it. That's
she did,
awesome.
and I hope to see her back in OCR and see. Um, it's I mean, we didn't see anything from it yet, but two as well, and we'll probably talk about more next week after we get to see the race. But Spartan first race of the U.S. National Series happened
Yeah.
down in Jacksonville, which would have been normally where we would see half these people.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
maybe some of them. I think Nicole would have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so I don't even want to talk about that too much till we can actually see the race. I mean, the results are out.
Hmm.
By the way, OCR Report did a cool thing. So they're the ones they went down and covered it, but they said cell signal sucked and all that. So we're not even going to do that. We're going to put together a package afterwards, right? Great. That's cool. But they didn't spoil it. They posted the results, but when you go to the post, it says results for US National Series men, and you have to swipe to the side to see them. So rather than just have that spoiler out there, I'm
Oh,
like,
so if you don't want to know.
yeah, you wouldn't just stumble on it. I'm like, that's a smart move. That was
Yeah.
and I thought, great. So I didn't spoil
Hmm.
it. So I don't even know what happened. That's why I'm
I
waiting to
don't
watch.
yet.
Well, I thought the video was, they said it was probably going to come out today. Maybe it'll come out tomorrow. So that'll be
Hmm.
hopefully tomorrow's watching. Anything else about Tough Mudder or AlUla, Saudi?
No, I think that's it for now. Well, maybe when we see the top 10, we can discuss more, but
Yeah, and hopefully they can put some money into a local. I'm going to say one thing about it. If you're going to put the money into a competitive race, don't do it into Tough Mudder because Tough Mudder is not a competitive race. At least put it into Spartan or put it into some other race because Tough Mudder's wonky when it comes to competitive. It just,
hmm.
it always has been. So that's my 2 cents on that. Put your prize money into prize racing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to do next? What do you want to talk about next?
How about Hyrox, Florida?
The hybrid raccoon. Story of the race, obviously. Dylan Scott went out, ran a 55 and change. Can't remember the exact number off the top of
Hmm.
my head, but 55. cementing himself into the top 15 for God knows how long, because I don't know how long this applies now. Maybe the next 3 years, maybe he's in the top 15. I have no idea. Um, well, I don't think they've announced the rules yet, but like there are people still counting scores from last year to be in the top 15. So
Oh.
anyway, he's
Mhm.
in a hell of a run. Amazing lunge time. He really killed the lunges. Um, one of his best, well, I think it was his best sled time as well, but new sleds.
Yes.
These are the Thor sleds.
The Thor sleds. Oh, because it's promoted
Yes.
by, yeah,
I think he's part owner.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, he's involved.
Mhm. Yeah, so they were saying that the push times were on average 50 seconds faster.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Mhm.
Dylan said outright, he's faster. By the way, again, kudos to Dylan for being one of the first people I've ever seen who got a quick time going. I got a quick course.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the equipment. Also, interesting. So the new rope for the pull doesn't have that springiness to it like the old ropes had,
Mhm.
which, on your first pull when it's really long, you kind of have to get all that slack out of it and then the springiness. So, I mean, I like the sounds of that,
Yeah,
but all I heard from Dylan was that he didn't feel like it changed his sled pull time, but I do feel like that would affect sled pull.
maybe it affects fatigue as well, right? Like you might not realize it at the time.
Yeah.
Um, from an aesthetic, it looked good. The equipment looked good,
Hmm.
you
Yeah, it
know,
did.
and I think for Hyrox, I believe they put a lot of value in that.
They do. Yeah.
I mean, they are an aesthetic company. They like their
The look.
presentation and they do a
Yeah.
great job. So I think that works well. But I didn't hear anything but good reviews about it.
Yep.
I didn't hear any.
I heard the wall balls were a little bit slippery, but
Yeah. Have you ever had a wall ball that wasn't slippery?
um I mean I've never noticed.
The only thing I had, we went to this weekend. We went and did the Hyrox event, which was Hyrox training thing, whatever, with Holistic Athlete with Mike and Maria Fetchik. Um, I went there and wall balls were part of the workout we did, and the one they had was kind of soft, which made it less slippery because there was some cushion to it, right? So when you
Uh-huh.
grabbed it, you had a little cushion to it. Just that I noticed. Not for soft wall balls.
Hmm.
New advantage. But yeah, so yeah, great by Dylan. Jesse Bruce coming in there as well.
Yeah. I know Jesse really was aiming to go sub 60, so he wasn't really happy about it. I know he was suffering a fair bit. He's also in the midst of training for an Ironman, so his legs might be a little tired.
Well, I looked at it too, and like I said, Dylan's saying, got a benefit of that, the fast sleds and all, and his time was remarkably fast.
Hmm.
But others didn't seem that much faster. Like Jesse's was pretty much par for the course.
Hmm.
Right? It's not like he had a huge PB. Mark Polzan, who came third, I think his was pretty straight. Like I didn't see anybody else with a big jump.
Yeah. I know Morgan Schultz had a PB, but I don't
She's
uh
also probably super fit.
yeah, she's been back training more seriously, so having a chunk of time taken off for her would be par for the course.
Yeah, and Jess as well in first. So I mean, and they
Yeah.
both crack. I think they both cracked the top. I don't think they took the top 15, but they're in that roll down area now.
Hmm.
So you never know if they might get a roll down. But I think there's only.
And we should note too, our third place finisher, we saw um Bridget Brown.
Oh yeah, so a fourth, wasn't she fourth?
Wasn't she third?
I thought it went Jess, Morgan. Oh yeah, 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 right, yeah, yeah. Then Bridget, yeah, yeah. I think so. Yep, yep. Sorry, Bridget. Yeah, great to see her come back. She's
Yeah.
every time I see her though, she's amazing. Like just
Hmm.
I think she's often overlooked. And then when you see her race live, you're just like, wow, she is really good.
Yeah.
Like she's
Hmm.
just. And then okay, I know you got that sympathy. Like, what, a four-time mom now, isn't she?
Hmm.
Four
Yeah.
kids. And how long ago did she give birth? Like 5 months?
So the baby would have been born in October, I believe, of last year,
Yeah.
or
So
end of September, somewhere around there.
so not too long ago. And
Yeah.
she's rounding in
Yeah.
solid race form.
That's incredible. Hmm.
Yeah, and you would think like it's not just the birth of the baby, but it's dealing with another kid with four kids total and to be able to train and to be at that level. And
Yes,
even if
it
she
is.
has the greatest husband in the world, which he may very well be, but, but
You're
to
still
get
not sleeping, and she's
no,
nursing, which takes a massive amount of energy out of your body too.
yeah,
I
she
mean,
must
I'm
be
assuming she's nursing.
just consuming so much food.
You do get to consume a lot of food.
So anyway, that was cool. That was great.
Yeah.
It's good. All in all, there was a big contingent of Canadians from one academy went down,
Hmm.
and they all seemed like they put in a great effort and had a great time. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Um, and then we were talking about Sylvie and Mitch. They went down and had a good doubles run. So good
Yeah.
for them. It's odd. You always see like these big Canadian contingents going to California and to Florida, and
Hmm.
then in New York, it'll probably be just me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, going to Florida in February is kind of enticing for a Canadian.
It is. It's, by the way, enticed about going to Florida. We had no plans to go to World's Toughest Mudder at all this year. And then
Mhm.
we found out now it's like an hour from my mother-in-law's place.
Oh,
We're like, maybe we'll just go down and check it out. I'm not gonna race, but maybe just go down and check it out and
hang out, pit crew.
visit, go pit
Yeah.
crew and see some friends and stuff because
Hmm.
that makes a cheap trip when you don't have to pay for any accommodations
Yeah.
and or get a
Yeah.
rent car or anything like that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that might be on the to-do list. Um, Anyway, I did mention we had did the workout on the weekend there at the Holistic for Hyrox Canada, ramping up. It was great. Had a huge turnout, a lot of fun. We drank a lot of athletic beer. We really did. We went through quite a bit.
Hmm.
Thank you, Athletic Brewing, for supplying said athletic beer. And there was a lot of people that are very interested, and a lot of people that are signing up that haven't done this stuff before, and they're just. I think it's going to be a really good event.
Yeah.
Like a
Mm.
lot of excitement. And Hyrox gyms popping up everywhere.
Yes.
Like every time you turn around, there's another one.
Hmm.
So I know they got one in Guelph now. They got that.
Okay.
A CrossFit gym got one. Had two. I think they just announced it that morning, but it was good. It was a good workout. It was like there was like some mobility stuff which I didn't do because I would have cried. And then there was
That means
uh
it's what you're supposed to be doing.
I'm doing my own mobility. I'm improving. Their
Yeah,
particular brand
right.
of mobility would have been too much. But no, I just kidding. It would have been great for me. But at the time I was doing other stuff. Um, then they had a All-American rower do a little seminar on the concept too,
Oh,
little
that's
bit.
awesome.
And he's everybody got to get on a rower and he could help them with their form. And I was told, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I got two big compliments last week. I got the okay for the rower, and I got an unsolicited message from Lexi about my overhead squat saying, not bad. These are big steps for me. I got an okay and a not bad, and I'm running with it.
There you go.
Yeah, quality. Um, all right. So we want to make sure kind of want to went through that some other stuff. Like you wanted to talk about, um, or we actually I brought this up, enhanced Olympics because this has gone on
Yes.
for a little bit. This was announced a little while ago. Enhanced Olympics. That,
Yeah. Before we talk about the enhanced, I'm just going to mention two Canadian records that were set this weekend because we
okay,
do have some track and field fans. So I'm just going to mention it. So Alicia Newman, our Canadian pole vaulter, who's so a two-time Olympian, she covered a height of 4 meters and 83 centimeters, which is a Canadian record, which lines her up really well for the next Olympics. She had a really disappointing last Olympic, so I know she's really trying to get her game back for this one. And then we actually had a world record, which this does not really happen for Canadian track athletes. I think I had been reading that this is maybe only the second active world record that Canada has in the track and field world. So Chris Morales Williams. So Chris Williams ran a 44:49 in an indoor 400. So we do have separate records for indoor and outdoor track. So this is an indoor time. So yeah, this weekend was conference championships in the States, and he ran that at conference champs.
That
44 seconds.
that indoor track is so cool.
Hmm.
It's like a race car track with the banking and everything. It just looks so cool. I was like, that was great. And you want to talk
Hmm.
about a fun race to watch? That 444 seconds, that's perfect. I loved it. It was awesome. And just
Hmm.
falling, like if you try to just do that pace on your own, just for a couple of seconds,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
fast.
It's wild. Yeah.
But it was really cool. And then the pole vault, like I don't know about you, but it looked to me like she could have went higher.
She really cleared the
Yeah,
bar.
it
And
was
then
not
they did move
close.
it up higher, and then she actually cleared the bar and hit it on the way down at a higher height, but she definitely can clear higher than that, which
Oh
is
yeah,
really exciting. I
I
don't remember what the
always thought
last Olympics was won in, but she's getting close to it. So
I always thought the pole was always so cool. Like it's just one of those weird, unusual sports. I don't know how it got started or who thought of it,
I know
but it's I think it's fun to watch.
it is. Yeah, definitely a fan favorite.
So many. I mean, you got to sprint, so you need that foot speed. You need the grip strength for the pole. You need the agility to get inverted. You need the body control in the air. You like there's
Rotating in the air. Yeah.
so many things going on, a lot of moving
It's
pieces.
like doing an upside down pull up on the bar too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Mhm.
really crazy the amount of
Yeah.
like and even
A lot of
watching
pole vaulters are gymnasts who got too tall.
yeah, and like even when they're coming off the pole, that full extension of the arm, like it's like a follow
Hmm.
through to get every bit of momentum you can.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's great to watch. It's one of my favorites when the Olympics happen, but when
Hmm.
I get to watch it when we
Yeah.
become experts about all these sports that we don't watch all year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But speaking of Olympics, so there's been talk about the enhanced Olympics, and more announcements are slowly coming out. It's the brainchild of a couple of venture capitalists, so some guys with a lot of money. Um, One of them, actually, interesting enough, was the one of the first independent investors in Facebook. So that's where some of his money came from. So it's the premise is, and I was reading a fair bit about it today because I'm very interested, and I was chatting with my friend Lanny, who's an Olympian, and just kind of getting her feelings on it too. And there is an element to this that I do understand. So the 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 idea is that um it normally we just drug test, which is just to create fairness in sport, but they're not checking for any health measures whatsoever. Whereas the enhanced Olympics is basically stating, if 50% of athletes at this level are doing something to enhance their performance, why don't we monitor their health so
Hmm.
that we actually create a safer environment for the athletes instead of just focusing on fairness? So that's their essentially their not slogan, but like that's the premise of what they're I'm trying to think of the word that I'm
Ethos.
yeah, their ethos. So to create a more fair, a more safe situation for the athletes. And so whereas they in the irregular Olympics and after big events, they just drug test after just to see if there's anything in your blood. But what they're going to do is anyone who's eligible to compete at the enhanced Olympics, they are going to do a full health spectrum to monitor the athletes throughout. And so we're talking blood work to check like their kidney function, their liver function, to check their levels of their hormones. They do MRIs for anyone who's in combat sports. They are doing echocardiograms to check people's hearts. So then people can be taking what they need to take, but they're going to make sure that everything is still done in a safe way. So it's not like, from what I understand, it's not like everyone's going to be coming in like just, juice to the walls and like these freaks walking in. And so when I was talking to my friend today too, she was like, they're doing this also to poke holes in the system.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
what if, we come out and you're like, it's not that different. You're like, well, then, or what is it showing about, the natural Olympics, we'll call them. And you know, so and the other interesting thing, yeah, so anyways, it's safer for them because if a lot of them are doing a lot of this stuff, anyways. And the other thing, when these athletes who are still finding the loopholes in the system and they're taking things that are banned and which is and then there's very unhealthy ways
Oh
also
yeah.
to flush it from your system before testing. So all of this is just we don't have to worry about that anymore. You take what you need to take, or people, they're lying in their doctor's appointments to get different medications for different reasons, and like there's none of that anymore. We can be transparent and we can do things in a healthy way. And so these Olympics are also they're not taking all of the events from the natural Olympics,
Yeah.
and they're focusing on individual sports only. So
Hyrox.
what's that?
Like Hyrox.
Yeah, could you
Sorry, a bit of
imagine?
a crossover there.
Yeah. Well, maybe. So they're looking at events that are no longer in the Olympics from the past. They're also looking at popular like sports that are popular now. So they are talking about having MMA in it. So
Yeah.
they are having combat sports, athletics, so your track and field, aquatics, gymnastics, and strength-based events, which is really where you're going to see the biggest difference. And so the combat sports was really the one where I was like, ugh, I don't know about that. But that's why anyone who's competing in that has to be having regular MRIs. And then when all of their data is collected, then they can determine if it's safe for the athlete to compete or not. Which I mean, I think that's absolutely incredible. Plus, the, I mean, I've had a few friends who've gone to the Olympics, and a lot of them are balancing on like the poverty line. So
Yeah.
even having like regular health screening and a lot of this stuff is extra and it's more costs, and they're making sure that all athletes who are competing are also fairly um
Compensated.
compensated. Yeah, so they'll all have a regular salary and they'll have prize money that's actually significant. Like it's a joke what some gold medalists get for winning a gold medal at the Olympics. Like even in the States, it's only $37,000. Like if you were a tennis player and you went and played in Wimbledon and you came
Millions.
even like right, millions. So you can be the best in the entire world at the Olympics and your Olympic event and you get 37,000. Like that's not even a year's salary for considering what they do and paying for travel and coaches and everything else. So it's insulting. I think in Canada it's like 16. it's
Yeah, but
it's
the problem there is you go through where does that money come from, right? And so when you're doing like a Wimbledon or a professional sports, it comes from viewership and stuff like that and sponsors and whatnot, who pays the money. When you get in the Olympics, this so problem is that it's run by an entirely corrupt organization that keeps all the money that they make.
right. So the IOC is not hurting
No,
financially.
but the
So
athletes are. It's
there are
much similar to
people.
it's like the NCAA, same concept.
Yes, and then I mean the rules have changed now in the
Mhm.
NCAA where athletes can make money, but before they couldn't. So they are going to be properly compensated, which is also really good to hear. But then the other idea, so they're taking a lot of things with the Olympics that are like a failing system and they're trying to do it better. So they're also, although they haven't announced the location, they're going to use existing infrastructure and it's going to be hosted at a Division 1 university.
All right, whole bunch of questions it raises to me.
Yes.
First one, and I'll hit you with this. Morally, right? So this is the deal, right? Morally, is it cheating? Is it not cheating? La da da da. We can talk about health risks of performance enhancing drugs aside, but morally, is it good or bad? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. What I do know is I feel 50% or more of the people in the regular Olympics are already doing something. And I think that
Yeah.
that whole system is very corrupt anyway. So I am very interested to see how it goes.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, like some of it too, you have to realize is that not that everything banned is necessarily performance enhancing. Sometimes it's just something like you might have like a health issue. And there might be a drug that would help you, and you can't always take it, or you have to have a medical exemption, and then you have to like get around the system. Like it's not like everything that you take is like we put everything under like, we're always thinking steroids and testosterone, but there's a lot of things that you take that's not necessarily
Wasn't it Ross Rebliati who got his gold medal stripped for pot?
yeah, that's not even performance enhancing, but
But that's on the list, right? So
yeah. Well, and same like Sha'Carri Richardson, the 100-meter sprinter, also lost her spot on the Olympic team for the same thing.
yeah.
So
So
yeah, there's a lot on that list that's really, I mean, it doesn't need to be there.
so and the other thing too, this isn't a question. This is, I guarantee it won't be long before they will be able to, will not be able to even talk about this as the enhanced Olympics, and it'll just be the enhanced games or the enhanced something else, because that will stop real soon. As soon as if it gets far enough, the Olympics they'll be pissed, you know. So legally, they'll end up, putting a kibosh on that, but that's neither here nor there.
Hmm.
Do you think times and stuff will be better, different, worse?
Um, I don't think it's going to be as dramatic as people think.
I don't
Like,
either, because I think most of them are dirty anyway.
so interesting that you just used that word because the other thing that they're trying to change is the stigma around the verbiage that people have around um, PEDs, and they don't even say PEDs. So they want so there's really not because when you say dirty, that means so an athlete is clean, so someone is dirty, but which is a very negative connotation.
Mhm.
When really it's just someone what they say, it's just someone using science like to help, and
I,
sometimes it's yeah.
I refer
And
to it
like
as
again, like some of the things that people are taking are just better for their overall health.
I refer to it as dirty because under the current rule set, it's cheating.
Yeah.
So to me, that's dirty. It's a dirty pool, right?
Yeah.
That's why I refer to it that way.
Yeah.
Under this, no, I don't think it's dirty.
Yeah. And they also the word doping, I guess, is to them like
Yeah,
completely off the table, should never be used. And I guess I was reading a little bit about the word and there are some like racial prejudice around where it originated.
I,
Um, there's a long story around the word doping, but again, like they want it completely taken off.
I can see why. I can understand. They don't want to promote it as, hey, these are the roided up monsters going and doing freaky stuff. They want to promote it as legit sport backed by science.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they
see
they
what the
were
body
also
can do at its ultimate
with
limit.
yeah, with science enhancement. So and they were discussing also the history of performance enhancement and how like since the beginning of time, people always have been using things to enhance their performance,
Mhm.
and it was only in the last 50 years that we've started saying nothing performance enhancing is allowed. And so then what they said essentially what it did also then is it stunted the development of science that helps people function at a higher like a higher ability, which also then when we talk about like longevity and like people generally feeling better later in life, which is again a lot of these substances, because a lot of performance enhancement and enhancements are around recovery,
Yeah.
which means that you feel better, you can train more, you can train longer, and that goes into the area of longevity. Like people can sustain doing things that they love longer into life and then they're healthier longer. So it's not like all of these things that people are taking are bad. Some of it's very good. And so they with all of this stuff being banned and dirty and like illegal for athletes, then it stunted the development of the science behind them.
Yeah. And thing like for me, I'm thinking like things in the past that would have been considered cheating and stuff that changed that become accepted too, even with technology, right? Running shoes, different equipment, hockey gear, all that stuff. I mean, even think about the hockey guys on the bench sniffing whatever the hell they're sniffing before they go out for their shift. Like
Yeah.
it's it's a damned if you do, damned. But like people are doing this anyway. Um,
Yeah. So it eliminates a lot of like the gray area.
And as a commentator person, just think of all the new stuff you can talk about.
Like,
You know,
yeah.
like Joe Smith is currently cycling testosterone.
Yeah.
A whole new realm of conversation.
Yeah. I was thinking the one that I was a little bit my big question mark went up about was gymnastics because you're
Age.
talking about a sport that's typically young athletes. So are we going to start enhancing like teenagers?
Well, we talked about this last week, right? Like with CrossFit. And maybe that this games, whatever it be called, will need to put in some form of age restriction because I don't, that's something I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Like
see,
messing with the endocrine systems of 13-year-olds for the
yeah,
sake
like,
of delaying puberty and stuff. Like,
yeah, you like, I would think you want people who are fully developed adults, right? And
yeah.
then, if you want
But
to,
most gymnasts retire by 18.
oh, at the latest, that's old,
Yeah.
right? Like, so that's what I mean. That's where, and they're putting gymnastics in this, as far as I know. That was one of
Yeah.
the key
Yeah.
events. I mean, I think for safety's sake, and if they're really concerned with health and wellness and checks like that, that might be something they have to address. And maybe their gymnastics is very different from the regular Olympic gymnastics, even if it costs, even if it's not as good, just for
Hmm.
safety and wellness.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to
No.
see kids getting. I don't know when you say doped up or whatever, but just kids having their growth altered.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know, whatever.
Hmm.
So interesting question to me. And you said this, they're going to do some different sports. What sports do you put in it? Where's like if you're running this thing, you're the convener or the whatever head of the enhanced games. What sports do you want to see in it?
Well, I mean, what I want to watch is track and field, but or athletics. Like outside of those five, that's a good question. So it's Summer Olympics,
So I am for a CrossFit slash hybrid thing.
like something in the fitness
I
racing
think,
realm.
yeah, I think that it is very, like you say, they want things that are popular right now. People love watching the CrossFit games. It is very popular. It's worldwide. You have the ground to pull from. Yeah, I think it would be great. Like I would do a CrossFit one, but I believe it or not, and this sounds completely selfish. I would do a CrossFit one closer to the CrossFit that I like, as opposed to the one you see at the games. So more Metcons and things along that lines, less pure lifting, because I'm assuming they're going to have powerlifting at this.
Yeah, they are
Because
lifting. Yeah.
yeah. So in order to have a separation between those two, something closer to somewhere between the games and Hyrox. You know,
Hmm.
again, a Murph would be a fantastic type style of event, something like that,
Yeah.
so that you have more of a Metcon feel to it, less of a pure weightlifting feel.
Yeah.
So I think something like that would be fantastic, and I mean, would be great viewing, and you know, give
Get some of the hybrid athletes in there.
well, yeah, and I mean, like I said, the CrossFitters are huge. They're well known. They're it would be, I think it would be very entertaining. The
But then they'd
interest
have to admit
Well,
that they
this is
were
what I'm thinking. This
enhanced.
is going to be interesting across the board is who jumps to this and that
Well, and my
depending.
question was, how do you apply?
Yeah, how do you get selected?
Yeah,
And is it a country-based thing?
I'm assuming. I didn't
Yeah.
hear anything otherwise.
This seems like something that Elon Musk would invest in.
I know, I know. Well, it's similar type
Yeah,
investors.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. I think it'll be very interesting.
Because it's kind of like if you, it could be, this is what I was thinking too. It could be an athlete's nail in their coffin though too. So if all of a sudden, you decide you're going to compete in the enhanced games, you can't go back.
No, probably not. No.
Right? So that's it. So are we going to get athletes who are just kind of on their way out? Like the 35-year-old track athletes, or
Maybe.
right? Because I mean, someone in their prime isn't going to be like, I'll switch over.
No, because that Olympic medal is always going to have its allure.
Yeah, and you don't want to be the one that's admitting that you would rather
But what
jump
about
ship and
and and if I talk about the CrossFit, what about somebody like Ricky Gerard?
well, I mean, he's probably like, sign me up.
Because he's already got nicked, right? He got nicked once, and
Yeah.
supposedly he's not now. But and CrossFit's probably a sport where if you did do that, you could wait 6 months and go back.
Yeah. Okay, I thought of another one that I could strongman. They're already
Oh
enhanced and they
yeah.
all admit it anyways.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I'd watch it. I already watch Strongman every time I see it on TV.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly
But the
entertained.
issue
And
is
I
though is that strongman like it's already well known that they all
Mhm.
enhance. So it's not you're not going to get records because they're already doing it anyways.
No, and that is actually you know what, you point that out. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, in strongman. No, I know.
No,
So
like
well my
me as a
well yeah.
fan, I'm not watching this. They're using drugs. I'm like, no, cool. Look at how strong that son of a bitch is.
I know. Well, and like my brother competes in strongman, so he's kind of versed me on like the culture of it all and like
Did you just
it
out him
was
for using steroids? Did you just do that? I'm kidding. I don't think he's quite at the level, but that's okay.
What um
He's doing
whatever.
good. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a culture where it's just generally accepted that that's just what you do. And but the thing is it's not like you can be like a nothing athlete, you take
No,
something and all of a sudden like you're world class. It doesn't work that way.
no.
These are athletes who are already phenomenal at their craft and they're taking something for the 0.1%. Like it's not you don't take something and then you become like you already are and then it helps a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. It's that extra. And here's the thing: we're gonna sound like we're flip-flopping because we've had talks about steroids before and the bad parts of it and all that stuff. And right, and I totally stay with that. Like to
Mm-hmm.
me, if your sport, and again, now Hyrox says this, DECA says this, but if your sport says they follow the water code and you're not doing that, you're cheating, and that's that's no good. And my stance beside that is not changed. I feel the same way. If you're doing these sports, you know the rules, and you're cheating, and you deserve to get caught, you deserve to be DQ'd, and you deserve to be suspended. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't change my mind on that. This intrigues me, where
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how it goes, and I'm just in it for the entertainment value. Whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing on culture, on reality, on people, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
I reading about it today, I understand their stance on it,
mhm,
um, which I was really interested to read about. So I'm very intrigued how it's gonna go. I'm very intrigued who's gonna sign up.
I do put it this way, I hope something happens because I mean this could just blow away and nothing happen at all. I hope it does. Like I hope it
Okay, but they're
happens.
also they're promising athletes money. We know what happens when we promise athletes a paycheck.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's going to be someone. There'll be athletes to do it. I mean, I
Yeah.
hope logistically they're able to figure out how to make it work and make it happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope they put on some cool events. I would
Hmm.
be very entertained. Strongman would be very cool. It'd be very cool to
Hmm.
do that. I yeah, yeah. Wonder the cycling too. I mean,
Oh, cycling. That's another weird one.
those short course guys in like the velodromes or whatever they call them. Wow,
Yeah.
those guys
Hmm.
are they're impressive. Actually, one of the guys I worked out with, I guess he does that as a hobby, and I just met him at the Hyrox thing. And he wrecked my workout. He made me work hard. I had a plan. I had a plan to like go really lazy and to go really light. And then we started in a groups of four and I was on the bike, he was on the ski erg because we were a similar height, so we could switch back and forth. And I
Hmm.
got on the bike and we had 30 seconds and I did like 12 cal in 30 seconds. And then I get off and I did the ski erg. And I went hard on the skier because the guy that I had coached earlier, because this was the second workout, I had pushed him and then so he pushed me. So I just all out on it. So he wrecked after me. Then I got back on the bike and I noticed it went from like 12, 13 cal to 30, which means that guy who pushed way harder than me, honestly. And it just became, I had to keep pushing harder and harder to try to keep up. And he was younger and fitter, and I did my best. But it was supposed to be lady work. Anyway, he does that biking too. And those guys are strong. The
Hmm.
lower body leg strength in those guys, like just massive power in the
Yeah.
legs.
Yeah. And actually, rowing could be another one, like all of your paddle sports.
Mm.
kayak.
what about some kind of like indoor rowing competition? That would be, yeah, I know it's like it's summer, so you can might as well just have them on the water,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's it's become a whole different thing, you know?
Not as spectator fun.
No, no, not unless you have the board up. I do like the board when you see who's gone as far, but yes, the water is more fun.
Hmm.
I've never been in a dragon boat race, and that always surprised me. I always thought I'd get asked to do a dragon boat race. It's never happened. So if anyone needs a dragon boat race person, ask me. I'll give it a go. Always wanted to. I don't go to enough bars anymore. That's the problem.
Hmm.
All right. Do we have, what else do we have? What time is it? I think we're okay. I think we could save some of the other stuff for another time because it's long enough. Um,
Hmm.
just want to say one more time, congrats, Dylan. Qualified. He will be racing in DC, even though this
Oh,
qualification doesn't apply to DC. The roll down has rolled down far enough that it'd be in there. And the reason we're actually aren't talking about DC coming up and to who is in it, because they haven't told us yet.
oh,
So we know a few here and there. We do know Maria Fetchik will be in. Good luck, Maria. Um, I know Meg Jacoby's going. I
yeah.
believe via
Viola?
Vivian.
Oh,
Vivian's
Vivian.
going. I be Viola's coming over. I've heard that uh, Michaela is not coming, and I've also heard the roll down is like pretty much gone all the way down to 30. So for both men and women. So
Hmm.
a lot of the higher names are not. I don't think Hunter's racing. Um, I think both Rich and Ryan Kent are.
Hmm.
I haven't heard about Megita. I would assume he is because I mean it's in DC and he lives in DC, so we'd have to assume
Yeah,
Megita's going to be there.
yeah,
But yeah, so that's why we haven't talked much about it, is because we just don't have the information,
yeah.
sadly. But
Hmm.
it is this weekend. It's going to be a great race. That's going
Last
to be
major.
Friday night.
Mm.
Is on Friday night, is not on Saturday. It will be on Friday. So I think I'm going to guess probably Friday sometime around between 6 and 8 p.m. will be the start
Hmm.
time. Seems to be. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a good Friday night, actually.
Hmm.
I'm excited about that. Hopefully they get the same level of coverage that they had in what was the last in Vienna, because that was really good.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah.
Not the same rowing machines, but the same.
Yeah. No more drama.
Yeah. All right, Beth, let's call it a night.
Yeah. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening, as always. And we had a big weekend again of racing. So congrats to everyone who put in some awesome performances this weekend. And we look forward to another big race this weekend, and we'll talk all about it next week.
Take care.